The main aim of this chapter is to learn the Python programming primitives like data types, creating variables, writing arithmetic expressions, simple expressions, and also to understand the basic Python built-in functions. After completion of this chapter, the learner will be able to explain the role of data types, expressions, variables, and the use of built-in functions with suitable Python scripts. And also, the students will be able to demonstrate the simple programs involving arithmetic expressions, concatenation and replications of strings with the Python IDLE. In this video, let us learn the Python's integrated development and learning environment called IDLE. IDLE has an interactive shell which facilitates the programmer to enter the valid expressions. Expressions are the basic building blocks of Python programming language. Let us learn the data types that are supported in Python programming language. First, we learn to use the IDLE, the Python's integrated development and learning environment. This IDLE facilitates the programmer to type the Python script, and at the same time the programmer can execute the script. To use this IDLE on Windows, open the Start menu and select All Programs, and under the menu All Programs, find the submenu Python with the version 3.6 or 3.8 or any version that's being found in the system, and then select IDLE, which is a Python GUI based console or shell, Python interactive shell. And once you choose this IDLE Python GUI, a window will appear with 3 greater than symbols, which is actually a Python interactive shell. Let's take an example of writing a simple Python script, an expression, with the help of IDLE. So this portion represents the version of Python that is being installed in the system, and the programmer can type the expression or any valid Python script just after this 3 greater than symbols. This is actually a Python interactive shell prompt, and after typing this expression, you press enter, you will get the result of that expression. Likewise, we can write other expressions too, even involving literals or variables. Let us have a demonstration of ideally. To launch the ideally, open Start menu, locate the Python .8 here and choose ideally. Here we have Python 3.8, the runtime environment. Click on that. We get Python 3.8 interactive shell. Now write the expression. For example, write 2 plus 2. We have a result 4, and you can even write the expression involving the assignments. Write a equal to 2, and you can display the value of a by just typing the variable name, that is a. You can even write the complex arithmetic expressions like this: 2 plus minus 2, or it's 0. It means 2 plus of minus 2, that's 0. Let me define one more variable b equal to, let us say, 5, and you can write the expression involving the variables 2, a plus b, which results in 7. You can also assign the expression to another variable, like c is equal to a plus b, and you can also print value of c. This is how the beginner can use this ideally to understand the Python primitives. Expressions in Python. Expression is the basic programming instruction in different programming languages. Expression consists of literals or values such as 2 or a character, and the operators such as plus, minus, and so on. And they always evaluate down to a single value. In Python, we have 7 basic mathematical operators. First is exponent, double star, and we have a percent sign. This is modulus operator. This is double slash, integer division, the single slash, division. This is floating point division. Star, this is multiplication operator, minus, subtraction, and plus addition. Let's take up the examples. 2 double star 3 is nothing but 2 to the power 3, that is evaluates down to 8. 22 mod 8, we get remainder after integer division, that is 6. Remainder what we get after integer division is 6, and this is integer division. float quotient. We get the quotient after integer division. 22/8, the quotient is 2, and this is floating point division. We get the value 2.75. This is multiplication, which results in 15, and 5 minus 2, that is 3, and addition, which results in value 4. The order of evaluation of expression, that is also called as a precedence, in Python is similar to that of mathematics. It means that the exponentiation operator is evaluated first, followed by multiplication, floating point division, and integer division, as well as modulus operator are evaluated next, followed by the addition and subtraction operators. And the associativity of these operators is from left to right. You can also use parenthesis to override the usual precedence of operators in the expressions. Let's take up the example. If we type an expression like this, 2 plus 3 star 6, in this multiplication operator has the higher precedence over the addition. Thus, this is evaluated first. 3 into 6, 18, and then 18 is added to 2, results in 20. You can also multiply large numbers. It is possible. You will get a large integer number like this. And programmer also can use the parenthesis to alter the usual precedence. And the evaluation order of this expression is first 7 plus 1 is evaluated, innermost nested parenthesis, 8 divided by 2, 3 minus 1 is evaluated next, second innermost parenthesis, nested parenthesis, this is evaluated first, followed by this 8 by 2, and then the outer parenthesis is evaluated, expression enclosed within this parenthesis, 8 by 2, that is 4, and then this expression is evaluated, 5 minus 1, 4, and this is multiplied, we'll get the value 4 into 4.0. This expression results in a value 4.0 as we have a floating point division. Even though this results in integer value, the result of this operation is floating point. This is 4.0. 4.0 into 4, again it is 16.0, floating point. Data types. Data type is a category for values, and every value belongs to exactly one data type. In Python, we have three common data types. First is integer, second floating point number, third is string. We have number of examples which represent the valid integers here, positive and negative integers, positive and negative floating point numbers, and valid strings. The values -2 and 30, for example, are integer values which indicate that the values are whole numbers. Similarly, numbers with decimal point are considered as floating point numbers. For example, 3.14 is a floating point number. Note that if you represent a whole number with a decimal point, for example 42 as 42.0, then 42.0 is also considered as a floating point number. The programmers can also have text values called strings, that is sequence of characters. To represent strings, surround the strings, that is sequence of characters, with single quote characters which indicate that the string begins at the first quote and ends at the second quote. Note that even double quote is also allowed instead of single quote. A string with no characters in it is also called as blank string. Let us take up a simple example. Hello world. Here we have only one opening single quote, no ending single quote. This is an invalid representation of a string. Second example, this is valid because string begins and ends with double quotes. This is third example, which is invalid. The string is enclosed with double quote and at the end it is enclosed with single quote. Again, it's an invalid representation. Let us summarize the discussion. The Python's integrated development and learning environment facilitates the programmer to write and execute simple Python scripts. The expression in Python consists of operators and operands are of different types: integer, floating point, or even strings with the constants or literals.